Hello there, it's just me, your old buddy Grizzly Jim. Now I'm coming to you from a very cold, dank hovel of a workshop. Just been twisting up a few strings ready for Christmas and whatnot, getting things sorted. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the subject of arrow tuning and how important it is, or how not important it is, because I mean that's the question. How important is arrow tuning in traditional archery? And it is very important. It's also not that important. The thing with traditional archery, and I stand by this a lot, is if your form is good and repeatable, it doesn't matter if your arrow is a spine too weak, a spine too stiff. It doesn't really matter. If you're consistent, the arrows are still going to fly consistent. Now, from my experience, a slightly stiffer arrow is going to be a little bit more consistent than a slightly weaker arrow. But that's beside the point. The important thing is the release. That's the key to everything. If you've got a really smooth, consistent, repeatable release, the arrow will fly well. It will go in the right direction. If it doesn't, there's a certain level of adjustment you can make to yourself. But for the most part, if your form is on point, the arrow will fly well. And I see a lot of people, I mean, I've touched on this subject quite a lot, and I see a lot of people get really bent out of shape about arrow tuning, and they really work themselves up about, oh, the arrow's got to be perfectly tuned. Oh. In an ideal world, that would be amazing, because if your arrow's perfectly tuned to your bow, that's something you can eliminate. That's an issue you don't have to worry about. But it's only perfectly tuned to your bow if you're perfectly releasing the string and the bow rate. As long as you're shooting it perfect, then the arrow is going to be perfect. But any slight deviation in release, that arrow is no longer perfectly tuned to that bow. Sometimes when it comes to archery equipment, and especially traditional archery equipment, and now I'm looking at this through the lens of traditional archery, as I always do, but sometimes you got to pull your head out your ass and work on yourself and spend less time stressing about your equipment and more about you as an archer and your ability to do a fundamentally solid shot that's repeatable. I've talked about the 5 Caesar. It's a Caesar loads of times, and in fact I put a little thing up in one of the corners. It's a good video, honest. Watch the ads. But yeah, it's all about you at the end of the day. Equipment it's nice to have nice equipment. It's nice to have beautifully tuned equipment, but unless you are a machine, it's almost irrelevant having perfectly tuned equipment, because we are shooting wooden bows off our fingers, be that a glove, be that a tab, using a string that's been twisted up by some chubby internet has-been in a garage in the Midlands. You're shooting an arrow, be it wood, be it carbon, with feathers on it and points that have hit gravel and taken, it's very rare that everything is perfect in archery, and you kind of have to make the best of what you have to make the best shot you can make. And it's more about you than it is your equipment. And I see a lot of people get caught up in sort of this kind of, the equipment has to be perfect. And when I was working in an archery shop, people would come in and say, hey, can you help me, tune my arrows? And I love arrow tuning. I'll spend all day with someone arrow tuning. I get a real kick out of it. But they'd come up and they'd make the first shot, and then they make the second shot, and there'd be 2 completely different shots. And it's pointless stressing out over these arrow tuning until you can repeat the shot. That's basically the crux of this whole video. If you can be consistent with your archery, then worry about arrow tuning. Then kind of you can really tune the crap out of a set of arrows to a bow. You can, but even then, it's not necessarily, it's going to give you consistent results, obviously, but it's not the be all and end all. Honestly, I've got really lax with my archery over the past couple of years, maybe. I have got a hodgepodge of arrows, a hodgepodge of bows. I don't think I've matched a set, like been really anal about matching a set of arrows to a bow for such a long time. I think my Grizzly Jim signature series, I've got a set of, I think Eastern Axis arrows. I think some 500 spine Axis arrows. They are tuned and they are bullets. I haven't even fletched them up yet, but they are absolute bullets. I haven't got round to fletching them up yet. I will. But I know they're going to be absolute bullets when I sort of come to fletch them up. But I'm using some. I think my buddy JT, he's giving me back a set of gold tip Pierces. Actually a bit light for my tastes, but they're ones I sold him ages ago that I happened to just pick up and have a play with, and I was like, hey, these are coming out all right. Can I pinch these for a bit? And I've got some arrows that I've stolen off my buddy. I haven't tuned them, but they're flying okay. They do me absolutely perfect. I can they're fantastically accurate. I don't really shoot a great deal further than about 30 meters nowadays, whatever that is in freedom units. I'd need to work it out, like 20 something yards, 82 meters, 22 yards, is it 20 yards? I don't know. It doesn't matter, but that's by the by. We all do. And I've made so many videos on this subject of getting caught up with gear. And I mentioned in another video, my dad's a fisherman, and he keeps everything really simple. And he sees all these people with loads and loads of fishing gear, and he says, do you know what? This fishing gear catches more fishermen than it does fish. And it's the same is to be said about archery. If you've got a good bow that fits you, and you've got some arrows that are approximately the right spine, that are the right weight and the right length, that's more important really from a safety point of view compared to spine. But yeah, as long as they're approximately right, you're gonna get decent results. And yeah, I have got too many bows, and I shoot too many bows to sit and absolutely tune the crap out of every single arrow I have to every single bow I have. I'd never get anything done. I'd never have any arrows. So yeah, as long as you're approximately right and you're consistent with your shooting, you're going to get better results than not. So yeah, it's just a little bit of a, I haven't made a video for a while, and I do kind of enjoy these lo-fi little videos in the workshop. I've got so many things to look at. I've got a Warwick Harvey bow to have a play with in the woods when I can. But it's cold and wet in the UK at the moment, which is not a lot of fun. But yeah, it's getting close to the end of the year. Got some interesting stuff coming up. Some stuff I can tell you about, some stuff I can't tell you about. But I've got some really interesting stuff happening with my guys at Striker, so that'll be fun. But yeah, it's been a tough year. It really has. So I'm hoping you guys are all okay. I'm sorry it's another lo-fi video, nothing particularly interesting going on, no bells and whistles, but just one of those things that it was sort of had a thought going around my head. And yeah, so yeah, don't beat yourself up about tuning and things. Just tune yourself before you tune your gear, and you'll have a much better time. So I should have just said that. I could have saved you 10 minutes. But anyway, you take care, shoot straight, and if I don't see you before, have a lovely Christmas. And I'll see you on the internet. Bye-bye. Hey, buy a string, buy a t-shirt, buy some wax, buy some coffee. I've got all that stuff on the website, www.grizzlygym.com. and www. World Wide Web. It's actually quicker to say World Wide Web. grizzlystrings.com. It's the same website. Takes you to the same place. You can buy all the stuff. Just buy a string. Don't buy a string. I don't care. I'm not. What did you expect? Do you think this was going to be an advert for Raid Shadow Legends? No, it's just me. Just trying to make some money. Jeez, just buy a string.